Welcome back to Alex at the desk, and today we're going to be using some sand, some grass scatter, and maybe some bits of foliage which are now flying everywhere, and we're going to get on and do the rest of the scenic work over on the street scene / pub area. So yeah, roll the credits. Yes, we're back here at the desk, although we'll be over there in a minute. And I guess you've probably noticed by now that I seem to be splitting up these tasks into multiple videos, and that's because they take a long time to actually do the work, and I don't want to bore you too much with, you know, big long videos. Although the Epix video was very long, but I was not going to split that into multiple. Tank. Anyways, so yes, I've got some scatter here that's going to go behind the pub, hopefully. I've got the foliage, which is going to go on the hedge, and I've got some sand for the ground colour. So I think we'll start with a bit of the sand. So I'm going to get the brush, going to paint some PVA where I want that, over there, and I'll show you doing that, and I'll sprinkle that down, and then we'll have to wait for it to dry, and then we can do the next layer of stuff. And maybe while that's drying, I can do some of the foliage on the hedge. So let's get cracking. Well, this is the scene as it is today. And we'll take these vehicles off because we want to be able to access this space. So there's the Mace Van and Guinness Dre. We'll pop them over here, out of the way. And dust it down a little bit. We've got our hedge here. This is what we're going to attempt to add some foliage to. So I'll pop that out of the way. And yeah. Oh, and we'll get rid of Anchor On. We'll pop it somewhere else. That's better. Now, we've got our coach here that was being used to hook up the back. We're going to roll it out of the way. It doesn't like this corner, apparently. This is a railroad mark one. There we go. We're missing a coupling off one end, actually. Shut that over there. So, these buildings are now fixed down quite well. And I'm going to paint the PVA down. So, I'll move the camera so we can see what's going on. Right, well, we've got some PVA glue. Well, we're putting that into a tub, and we have our tub. I might need a new brush at some point. There we are. That's one way to clean out your tub. You see what I mean about the idea about using this for the harbour, to make like a watery scene. Nope, that'll have to do like that. Right. Handily enough, I've got a brush here, and I have a smaller brush as well for getting in the neat areas. So, pour our PVA. It's got a safety cap on it, it's not going to stop me. Right. And we can get on and get our brush. So I've got a big sandy area either side of the pub for now. And I can go over any areas I want to with grass work if I need to. I want to have a little sandy path along. Now it's time to sprinkle some of our local sand into this space here. Right, well, while the sand dries, we can get on with making our hedge look a bit better. It's a bit scraggly. I think this one was probably on Project All when it's got long bits of sort of hanging basket liner on it. We want to coat this in our foliage and make it look good. So I'm going to get my PVA from over there and bring it over here, paint it that, and chuck some of this stuff on it, and hopefully it'll look good. Hopefully. Right, so we've got our hedge here. Hopefully we have enough sort of space to do this. And we'll get the brush, and I want to absolutely coat it at least on 3 sides with this PVA. That's the plan anyway. It's going to be a bit messy, but then we'll have to try and find a way to sort of, well, hopefully if it's coated in foliage, the foliage will stop it sticking to the newspaper, because that could be a bit of an issue, I imagine. So yeah, I'm continuing with the idea of just recycling as much as possible from older layouts with this. So I'm using, this is off of Project Aldwin, and the buildings are off of Beaglington Mark II. They keep the scene looking the same as Beaglington. Right, that is that now covered. So just make sure we can now go and get our foliage, and start with a bit dark, I suppose. And I don't know which way up this is going to go, but we'll put it that way up, I'd say. And this is all probably going to stick to my fingers. But there we go. Then get a bit of the lighter foliage. Just spread a bit here and there. A bit more towards this end. It doesn't matter too much if it's kind of clumpy as well. You know, a hedge is not going to be like, if it's an unkempt hedge, it's not going to be like really neat and tidy. We just want it to look better than a bit of foam, because that's what kind of what it looked like before. There we go. So it's looking a bit overgrown and squidgy right now. We're going to leave that to dry. Hopefully it'll look good when it's dry. This is on the railway. Through there. Right, we'll find somewhere to leave this to dry now. There you go, I've pegged it onto the railway for now. Right, well, it's the next day, and the weather has taken a turn for the worse. It's horrible and miserable and wet and grey outside, but hey, we're inside with the railway, so it's all good here. So the sand is down, and I'm going to get my grass to do the grass work around the back, and then we can install the hedge. So the sand has worked quite well. It's missing a little bit in between the alleyway here, but it's not too bad. But in big areas that I wanted it to work really well. So you'll see that as we're doing the grass work. So now I'll put the camera close up again, and we'll sprinkle some of this rather flat looking. This is just grass scatter. I'm not using the device that electrocutes me. So we'll move the camera and we'll get started. So I've refilled my glue tub. I've washed my brush. It's not like the other one, so it's got a little bit of wetness to it. Some of the sand as well, when it came down, it got stuck to the road surface, and it's taken off some areas of the grey. But I'll probably use some watercolour grey and black shades to make it look like potholes. So that's not a problem at all. Just pop the grass in there for a sec. And if we take some vehicles first and place them into the driveway of the pub, we'll see just sort of what sort of size we need. It looks like that sand area is going to be more or less perfect, so I can take my grass from about the back of it, you know. So I think that'll be all right. The side alley though, like you've got your drain man here, and you've got the mace man here, so I can kind of cut in the grass from across here. So that should be all right. So I'll go over the sand a little bit here, and maybe a little bit over here, but not too much. It's all about making it look right, I suppose, and trying to make it look natural. So okay, I'll glue, and we're going to put it down, and we're going to overlap with the edge of both the ballast and the sand, because the ballast actually comes out kind of far, and we're gonna go between them over here to help blend that in. Brush a little bit on there, around the back of the pub. And with the glue down, we can start to sprinkle on our grass. I'm just going to get the brush a sec, just there. Make sure it looks right. Obviously the hedge will be going in. Right, so with the grass down over in this area, we can now turn our attention to behind the back alley. So I'm going to use some of the clump foliage to make it look a bit more overgrown. So I'm just going to try and get it to fall down here. I'm just going to brush it along. Make sure that it sticks down to the glue as well. Pat it down. And a bit of the darker coloured one as well. Right, so the grass is down and we've done this sort of foliage bit here. I've attempted to spray the side of this and add in some of this foliage to make it look like it's growing up the side of the antique shop, sort of like ivy. So hopefully I'll be able to hoover that off and most of it will stay there. I don't know, if it doesn't, we'll go over it again once it's a problem. So I'm going to leave that dry, and then hopefully we'll be able to attach the hedge, which I have here. It's pegged onto the railway. And I think actually it's looking pretty good. Nothing's falling off of it or anything. So yeah, I'm glad that I've managed to recycle that because it's looking really good. It'll look even better when we put it onto the railway. Right, it's a new day and hopefully this is dried, so I'm going to try hoover it off and we can see how it looks then and see what we can do with the hedge and fence. Now it's time to attach the hedge. So I've got some more of the Loctite glue, the gel that I'm using, and I think we'll put it onto this side of the hedge. Hopefully there's enough here. It's dried up. Typical. Right, let me just go fetch another one. So they're going to go really well, or it's not. Just get the coach. Check our clearances. That looks fine, so we'll just stick that down like that. Go. Now at this end of the hedge I've got an extra bit of old fencing that I'm going to pop down there. Might have to paint a little more brown on it at some point, but I'm thinking putting it somewhere along there like that. I'll trim off that other bit. And I have a post here that can go like that. So that'll go in like that, and it will divide the yard from the coal yard like that. Right, so we've just used some Humbrol poly cement to fix this together. It's still a little bit loose, but I want to get some paint onto it, just on the areas that don't have any paint on them. So I'm just going to open this up and see if there's any paint left. Or there is a different shade of brown, but you know, at least that'll be some variation compared to the fences on the rest of the railway. Then we can just redo the glue. So I'm just going to run it down here. So now we can attach this to the railway. So I'm just going to pop a bit of glue onto the legs, rather than the feet. There we are. So with the fence installed, everything's looking a bit neater, a lot better framed. So I'm going to put all these things back where they should be and just get a few more shots of how the scene is looking now. But yeah, it's come together really well. Post man over here. Post delivered this morning. Right, looking really good, I think. So I'll just take you back over to the desk to conclude. Yeah, so I think that went tremendously well, and really pleased with the progress we seem to be making. Now, next week we're not here because, of course, it's time for Beaglington-On-Sea and the Halloween special. So I'm going to get a lot of stuff tidied up here, I'd say, for the railway to be able to run properly. I don't think it's going to be that spooky. I think it's just going to be like a regular episode of Beaglington-On-Sea, which we've not had for quite a while. So I'll probably be here at the desk looking at something, and Alex will be running some trains and get passed through the new scenery that I've been working on. Obviously, Midquick is coming along, but it's just taking a little bit of time to build. So we'll be working on that over the rest of the autumn. So October's nearly over. And then we'll be into November. So yeah, thank you for tuning in once again. I hope you're enjoying seeing progress being made on the railway. And I'll see you very soon at the desk for another episode. So you've been a wonderful audience. I hope I've been a wonderful Alex. And we'll see you again soon. Don't forget you can like, comment, share and subscribe. And there's also the subscribe bubble and the playlist thing. But for now, I'm off. Take care of yourselves. Ta-ra.